Welcome to the Lioness Queen Experience. I am your host, Leo the Lioness, but you can call me Leo. On this show, I will speak about a variety of trending topics, giving my honest point of view. Occasionally, I will have on guests who will aid me in providing fun, thought provoking, but most of all, adult conversation. Join me every week for a new episode. This will be Leo completely unleashed and raw, and sometimes a little messy. Hey, everybody. This is the official first episode of the Lioness Queen Experience, and I am your host, Leo. I am so very excited to get started on this new journey. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I hope that you enjoy the future content that I will be bringing. To those of you who are familiar with me, thank you for your constant support over the years, and just know that I am working hard to come back out like some of you have been asking me to do, and I appreciate the constant encouragement and also the respect of knowing that sometimes as a content creator you have to take a break. And so I'm ready to come out of my hiatus. I started off on YouTube a few years ago. Initially it was fun. I built up my support system. I had a lot of great times, and then it became toxic. It became overwhelming. It became to the point to where social media was starting to cross over into my real life. And also I was growing, I was aging into a different time at the same time, okay, constantly just going through transitions. And so I decided to do what I feel like a lot of us are afraid to do, and that is actually sit my ass down, take a break, cut off some connections in order to focus on whatever messages the universe is trying to get to you. And that's what I did. And it has served me well. So now I'm ready to come back out and give the best of me to those who appreciate it and who are willing to support it. This is the week of Christmas. It is actually Monday. It is early as hell. I am usually up anyway this early because I am used to taking my son to school, but he is out of school starting today, and my body, I guess, is used to getting up this early, so I'm up having a cup of coffee. For me, it is not my week off yet. My last day will actually be this upcoming Friday, and y'all already know how it can be when you're doing that last week of work. If your job is the type that actually does take the holidays off, you know how those last 5 days can be. It can be a lot. It can seem like it drag on, and you just cannot wait until you punch that clock for the last time or leave that office, leave that desk, whatever, and you tell the coworkers that you do fuck with, you say, hey, y'all, I'll see y'all next year. My job is, of course, having holiday parties for all shifts. I've stopped attending the holiday parties years ago. I ain't got time for it. I have learned through a lot of trial and error to keep work, and keep your outside life separate. So I will be leaving. I'm not going to no damn parties, no bars, none of that shit that I used to do when I first got there. Okay, I done learned why that is not a good idea 9 times out of 10. So I'll be hugging them and telling them, hey, be safe. I'll see you next year in 2023. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that good shit. But I wanted to talk about a situation that happened to me yesterday. And I happened to be at work this past weekend, and I left work early. And as I'm leaving, one of my great friends ended up calling me. Now, me and this particular friend have been knowing each other for over 20 years at this point. We met first, and then maybe a year or two, I want to say, after we became cool, I started dating his brother. And so me and his brother, messed around for a few years. We went back and forth. At times it was good. At times it was toxic as hell. It was just a lot going on. And I'm not going to go exactly into total detail about the reason why it did not work out. But there were 2 factors that made it to where when I grew up, when I became a woman or started growing into my womanhood, once I started to realize my self-worth at that level, I decided that, okay, I can't do this no more. This shit done got old. It's better out here. I ain't got to deal with this. If it were not for those two factors, me and him would probably still be together today. We would be married, probably had a couple of children, all of that. Just keeping it 100% real. But because of the fact that this is a public platform, I'm not going to go totally in on him like I could. I'm going to use some type of tact, at least in this episode. But either way, back to the conversation, y'all. So me and him are talking as far as the brother. We're speaking. And he lets me know, like he does every few years, that, hey, my brother is asking about you. You know, he want me to tell you hello. And I was like, okay, tell him I said hi. And that was the end of that. We also ended up going into what I just told y'all about the particular reasons why it didn't work out. And I guess when he spoke to him, he also told him, because he was there to witness everything. And he said, I was telling him that you really messed up. And people in his family still feel like that. They always say I'm the one that got away because of just these two issues, really just one particular issue. And they were like, you know, he was talking to him, kicking it with him like, you know, I tell her that you said hi, but just understand you the one that messed this up. And this is why it's hard for her to even be around you all these years later. Now, when we broke up in my early 20s, I would still be around his family. I would still go on vacation with them if they had, because he has a huge family. So they would have different parties, family reunions, stuff like that. And because of the fact, again, that I was closest with his brother, they would always invite me, you know, so I would go. But when I would go to be around my ex, he would make things so uncomfortable because he did not respect boundaries. He did not respect that I was not the same person that he was dating when I was younger. I was a fully grown woman now, had experienced some things. And the problem, even to this day, is that he has not changed. I have. Okay. And so he would make things so uncomfortable. He would, you know, try to push up on me or try to say things in order to try to entice me. And I would have to constantly tell him, like, look, it ain't like that. And for any men that is out there listening, it is nothing more irritating. No matter if you got a history with somebody or not, it is nothing more irritating and annoying and disrespectful as hell, in my opinion, for you to have been with someone, y'all break up, you try to be cordial with them, years that went by, but every time you encounter them, they end up doing something or saying something to make you remember exactly why you would never go back to them. And also just not understanding that even though me and you done had this past, that don't mean that I want you now pushing up on me. You know, it's creepy. Okay, at least for me, that's how I feel. So me and a brother talking, and he brings it up again. And I said, okay, cool. Tell him I said hi. That's the end of that. So next thing I know, maybe about 20 minutes into the conversation, I happen to be looking at my phone and I see that conference call comes across the bottom of my phone. And I don't know why in 2022, there are people who are unfamiliar with the fact that when you add somebody to a call on phones, I know for sure on Android, Team Android, you can see that. And so he called himself trying to add his brother onto the phone because he claimed that his brother called him while we were on the phone. And so next thing I know, I hear his brother start talking. And so I automatically hung up. And so I'm thinking that my friend would get the hint. Okay. But he didn't, apparently, because he called right back maybe about 2 minutes later. And the way that he was talking, I knew that he still had the brother on the phone. He was talking really weird. And I told him straight up, I said, I hung up for a reason, but I'm like, what's up? And so next thing I know, my ex started talking. Is like, you know, hey, how you doing? You ain't got to act like that, blah, 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 whatever. So due to the fact that my friend done put me in this situation, he knowing I'm going to cuss his ass out, when me and him talk again. But I was like, you know what? Let me quit being a bitch. Let me go ahead and deal with this. Try to have a nice, cordial conversation. And then I'm going to get off the fucking phone. So I let the wall down. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And so he asked about my son. I asked about his daughter. You know, we kicking this small talk. The brother, he happy. We all three reminiscing. So one issue that I will say that I had with my ex, he is the type to where he do not know how to let shit go. He will turn the simplest of things into an argument, and he will keep pressing on. And so we got on a particular subject, and he began to disagree with me, and he wanted to keep it going and going. I automatically was transferred back to the shit that we went through when we were together. And me being in my 40s now, my patience for bullshit in any type of capacity is very limited. It's almost nil, like none. You know, I have boundaries, and I also realize and respect how precious my time is. So if the shit is not something that is detrimental to my life, I get away from it. I get away. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to hang up. I'm just going to do what it is that I do. So he got to going back to that old person. And I said to the brother, I said, you have a good night. And I said to my ex, you have a good night. And so my friend, who was the brother, was like, no, don't hang up the phone. Don't hang up the phone. And I went click, point blank, period. So 10 minutes later, I guess he finally decided to get the damn hint. And he called me with just him on the phone. And he like, sis, I'm so sorry. And I cut straight into him. I said, first of all, you've been knowing me for over 20 years. I have always respected that that's your brother. When we first got on the phone this evening and you mentioned that he wanted to speak with me, I gave you my response, but we also went into the reason why our relationship or lack thereof is the way that it is today. So not only were you around for the shit that we went through while we were together, you were around for the shit we went through when we were apart. When I finally decided to say, fuck you, and I'm out, our relationship, we maintained our friendship. So you done seen it all. So you know what the fuck it is. If you wanted us to speak on the phone together, why did you not ask me, Leo, are you okay with speaking with my brother? He really wants to talk to you. Now, I would have said, hell to the fuck nah. I would have told you that, and deep down inside you know that. But you still chose not to ask me that out of respect. And he said to me, sis, I'm so sorry. I just thought that if you all heard each other's voice, you know, things would, maybe some feelings would happen. I said, but that has nothing to do with you. All these years, I've known you and your entire family. I said, how many times do I bring up your brother in our conversations? He said, none. I said, okay, that's point number one. Point number two, do you really think that if I wanted to get back with your brother, if I wanted to have any type of contact with him, do you not think that I would not have reached out to him directly? Or I would have said to you, I want to talk to your brother. Or when you brought it up tonight, I would have not only said, well, tell him I said hi. I would have said, go ahead and give him my number. Tell him we can kick it. I said none of that. Okay? I do not like being bombarded in any type of way. I do not like group texts. I've done those in the past. It's not a good idea. I don't do that shit no more, because you know how niggas that's in the group text, if somebody decide to have a mad day, they choose to expose your shit and conveniently leave out they shit and they part in the fuck shit. So for that very reason, these days I do not participate in group text. I have actually blocked family members. And for any family members that may hear this episode in the future, if you are wondering why all of a sudden you are blocked, it is because you have sent me group text messages about shit that either I did not care about, or how different people within our family, instead of contacting each other individually, y'all want to have my phone popping off. And I do not like notifications. But I definitely also do not like people adding people into calls without my permission. I do not like that. I like to deal with people on a one-on-one basis. All that CSI, all that let a person listen in, all that, but I don't like all that fuck shit. So I was like, for you to do that, I don't know whether it's because you don't understand that I'm not the same person I was then. Maybe you were having a moment of reminiscing on shit, because I do understand it's the holiday season. Me and somebody was just talking about this shit, to where during the holiday season, and especially as you're getting up in age, you start to think about, different things and different relationships that you had and all of that. I said, I don't know whether that's what's going on right now, but I said, let me break it for you. Don't ever do that shit again. Don't ever put me in that situation again. Respectfully, when it comes to you and I, again, we have a established friendship. I can say that you're family at this point. That's how close we have been. That's the type of bond that we got. But when it comes to your brother, my ex, me just being completely transparent, I don't want to see anything bad happen to him. I do not wish him any harm. The times that we did have that were good together, I will cherish them for the rest of my life. But at this point in time, if I never see or speak to him again, I will still go to sleep at night in peace. I believe that is something that we as human beings need to understand the reality of. Like they said, there are reasons and seasons. Everybody is not meant to continue to be in your life. Certain connections are not meant to last. And some of us have a hard time with grasping that concept. We also think that every time there's a break in a connection that it has to be negative. Somebody did something. That's not the case. There are people that I have had the pleasure of having in my life, to where if I seen them today out on the street, I would say hello to them. I would give them a hug and everything. But would I be quick to establish, like, yes, let's be together every day? No, 9 times out of 10. That's just me being honest. I'm not about to sit here and pretend as though I care about certain things concerning your life. I'm not about to sit there and lie about that. And so that's what I told him. I said, let's not even cross that again. I said, please don't ever do that to me again. And I'm like, when it comes to anybody, I said, I've never done no shit like that to you. He used to date one of my friends back in the day. And I said the same thing to him. I said, now, would you have liked it if I would have done that shit to you? I said, even though y'all didn't necessarily leave off on too bad terms, how would you have liked it if I would have just had her ass on the phone? I said, I don't do shit like that. I said, no matter if I know people are cool, if there's a conversation that needs to be had, I ask the other person, is it okay if I add this person to the phone call? Is it okay if I give this person your number? Is it okay if I relay a message to this person? As a matter of fact, I had to do that shit earlier today. 2 people that I adore, they know each other. They are cool with each other as far as I know, but they do not have each other's number. They don't talk on the phone, but they both know me. One of them happened to ask me, can you please relay this message to this person? I did it. And I relayed the message back to the person. I did not give their numbers to either of them. I was respectful still of the situation. And people have to learn how to respect boundaries overall. That's just my whole point. So after I said that to him, he understood where I was coming from. And he was like, you know what? I shouldn't have did that. And I said, yes, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Because I don't give a damn how long we've been knowing each other, how close we are. You don't get the right to just do shit that you want to do, because I know you would not like if I did that, even though none of us are perfect. So we ended up talking some more. We ended up laughing and having a regular conversation like we usually do, and it ended up being cool. But yeah, y'all, I just wanted to share that story with y'all. Let me know what y'all think about that. Do you think that I overreacted, or have you had a situation like that to where you have remained friends for years or close to one of your ex's family members or, friends, and they put you in an awkward situation? Let me know if I did the most. All right, everybody. So this is the conclusion to the very first episode of the Lioness Queen Experience. I hope that you enjoyed my introduction / story time. Definitely will be more story times coming. And also in future episodes, we will be talking about the things that are trending and popping. In the last 24 hours, it's been a lot going on. This whole year, it's been a lot going on. But definitely, the past 2 weeks, I have called this Demolition December, because everybody, whether they are in entertainment and politics, everybody been fucking shit up every day when it comes to the drama and the drop your jaw moments, okay? And a topic that is definitely trending is the People versus Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez. He is accused of shooting Megan Thee Stallion in both of her feet back in July of 2020. The trial got started this past Monday, December the 13th. It is now December 19th, and I believe that the prosecution is supposed to be wrapping up their end of the bargain, and then the defense will start to present their case. So far, Megan Thee Stallion has testified, and her ex-best friend, Kelsey Harris, who to me did a horrible job and completely perjured herself and completely wasted everybody's damn time. But we'll get into the particulars of that in a future episode. As a matter of fact, I have a really great friend that will be coming on to join me, and we are going to discuss what we think about it. We decided collectively to just wait until the conclusion of the trial. And I can guarantee also it will probably be more than one episode, because it's a lot to unpack. And whether you are Team Megan, Team Tory, Team Kelsey, Team I don't believe none of these motherfuckers, I can say that we all are still very confused. Okay. And this case can go either way. Now, the thing that we can definitely say is concrete is that she was shot. There were a lot of people who did not believe that Megan was actually shot, but it was proven in court this week that there were bullet fragments that were pulled out of her feet. So we cannot say that that's not the case. And also another thing that was proven was that it was intentionally done. It was not an accident. They got up there and said that the type of weapon that was used, you cannot just it's not going to accidentally go off. You actually have to use some force in order to pull the trigger. So whoever did it, whether it was Tory, Kelsey, the bodyguard that we ain't heard from, one of them niggas pulled the trigger on damn purpose. It's just that fucking simple. Okay, so let's cut the cap when it comes to that. All right. But either way, thank you for listening. Definitely will be dropping future episodes at least once a week starting off. And I want you all to have a blessed day. Bye.